Okay. All right. I formally welcome all the guest speakers and the guests, the audience, and the participants on this talk from Auracious Global. This is episode number 3, Auracious-Talks, and the title is Who Are We Beyond Gender? Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the show. Why I chose to talk about this topic or choose certain people who would be contributing to this topic or participating in this, because the world today is celebrating or recognizing a particular gender, right? Women's Day, International Women's Day. Very well, great, we appreciate that. However, who are we beyond these labels of genders? Man, woman, other gender, any other gender that is defined these days. And I'm sure we all are adults and we all have watched and seen how many other genders exist or don't exist, and how corporates are changing or businesses are changing and recognizing whether it's a woman, it's a man, or other genders. But honestly speaking, this day, why did I choose to talk about all this? Because it's rather an informal conversation. It's rather a conversation that is generated out of curiosity, that is born out of curiosity. There will be a lot of questions, a lot of reflection that, okay, did we ever think this way, right? When the guest speakers will talk about their experiences of seeing or functioning from a masculine energy, for example, you heard Joe right now, and coming in from a feminine energy, how does that really matter? And what lies even beyond those levels, right? How different would we think, act, or behave if genders didn't exist? Or, for example, if I existed as a person, as a human, and not just as a woman, the role that I play. Biologically, we have been designed differently. However, this brain and heart, or the mind and heart, is practically, generally, at the same place. So what stops men from expressing emotions, for example, in a similar fashion, or expressing them at the first place, as opposed to women? And why do women or girls, they are supposed to be dressed in a certain way and behave nicely or talk nicely, and men are always, or boys are always being told to behave macho or to be rough and tough, play with a particular kind of toy. For example, watch Transformers movie and watch the action movies. And when it comes to girls, oh, just watch Barbie or just watch Elsa or Frozen. That is like, the toys are designed like that. The school curriculum, for example, is designed like that. Why? What lies beyond that? What is beneath that? I want to ask you all a question. Have you ever thought, what is the basic essence beyond these genders, beyond the obvious? Anybody can answer that question. Have you ever thought or asked yourself this question, that what lies beyond these genders? Who are we actually? If I wasn't a woman, who would I be? Manazir?
Okay, I don't know that whether I will be put it clearly or precisely, whether it, how we are considered male or female or masculine and feminine. But then I think that this all depends on how we have come to this thing from the prehistoric times, because the early dwellers, I don't think so that they had that kind of understanding or, knowing that I'm a feminine person or I'm a male person. But then, because as you already mentioned, that we are structurally made same. But then at that point of time, during the prehistoric times, there were one group of people, those who were good at doing certain things in a certain way. And I'll give you the example that if you ask a group of men and women to carry a book and walk 10 steps, they have to hold a book like this, and they have to walk 10 steps. You'll see that the men will always walk like this, and most of the women will walk like this. So this is all, it is nothing. It is, long, very long actions based on the memory which we have. The women are, they are nurturing. So that's why they keep things close to their heart. Men, they carry weapons. And since they carry weapons, it is heavy. So they have to carry like this. And somehow, the way we have evolved and involved in the society, and once we have started, segregating ourselves in male, female, and the work which is gender-based and all that, I think, I'm not absolutely sure about that, but I think that these behaviors, they kind of make us men and women, but otherwise we are same.
Absolutely fantastic. And thank you, Sharat, for sharing your thoughts. Sharat, by the way, is a very dear friend of mine, and he has been a very regular participant, audience, and behind the scene, we share a lot of feedback about my work and what he feels about the kind of work we do as well. So thank you very much for your thoughts. I formally would like to welcome our guest speakers, Ejiro Osakede, EJ. Did I pronounce your name right? Please correct me if that was not. Okay. Energetic EJ, as most of us know her as Manazir Abbas and Joe Safi. Very warm welcome to you all three, and Bridget, who has joined us just recent in the conversation. About Ejiro or EJ, she is a woman of many expressions, or rather a human of many expressions. She's a singer, a trainer, sound engineer, voiceover artist, podcaster, and virtual event planner and moderator. So she dons many hats, many roles. She plays many roles in her life. And she's also going to talk about how does she feel about playing so many roles in her life, and what is she most dedicated to, and who is she beyond all these roles, right? She's the convener of the Becoming Summit, which is happening shortly, I think on 19th of March, is that? Yeah, okay. And she thinks about and takes a lot of initiatives about whether it is sustainability, whether it is promoting the African voice, promoting the initiatives being taken in Africa, or she being taking these initiatives for young children in Africa, their education, their women, for example, the voice of women. She is an avid podcaster as well, and she has this the Afrocentric voice. Am I correct, EJ? Yeah, that's her podcast.
The Afrocentric podcast.
Yes. Absolutely. You'll find her every single day on Insta. She does her live and reels. Okay, it's and she's a master storyteller as well. That's what she likes to call herself. That is about EJ, and then we come to Manazir, amongst the pioneers of digital marketing industry here in the UAE and other parts of India and globally. He has been a part of internet industry for over 2 decades, and he has leveraged his vast experience and knowledge in branding and digital marketing domain. Now, branding, not just the company brands, but humans behind those brands. There's a lot of feeling and a thinking that goes behind designing those campaigns or advertising or marketing strategies that he is involved into. He has advised a large number of companies that take a strategic move towards their online transformation. And that is about Manazir. Now, Joe, our very own corporate storytelling coach. He's also a corporate filmmaker, so stories, and also a transmedia consultant who helps entrepreneurs grow their business by turning authentic storytelling into story selling, into purposeful story selling. not just storytelling, because there has to be a purpose, a reason, a why. Why do they want to share that story with the world? Whether it's the brand story or it's the human story. He believes in gratitude, generosity, and growth. And he likes to watch true crime documentaries in his free time. I hope I have not missed out on any unique quality, but beyond that, you can, everybody will watch you and get to know more about you. Thank you very much, all. And I would open this conversation with asking first question to EJ. EJ, what challenges or privileges do women stereotypically face based on their gender? So,
okay, thank you. Thank you for having me here today. Even when you asked the first question initially, I had to hesitate because it's going to be hard for me to answer this question genuinely without bringing it from the perspective of my faith, right? Because yes, that's the basic for me. That's the foundation for me. So, but when you say your question now is saying stereotypically, so what are the stereotypes, right? Oh, she's a Black woman. That's number one stereotype, right?
Absolutely.
I cannot do without saying that here right now, right? It is what we experience. It is what we see, and this is a conversation that we're having, real conversation. So there's no point covering up anything. We're just having conversation and seeing, okay, how can we do better beyond just the gender and everything. So I think some of the challenges are the fact that number one, you're a Black woman or you're an African woman, and then you're a woman. Just being a woman sometimes, like, wait, what? You're a woman. What are you doing here? Okay, so me personally, I feel like I've just had interest in things or in areas that look or seem like it's male dominated. I remember long ago, like late 90s, early 2000, actually in 2000, I started this journey into the entertainment world in Nigeria, and I started to train as a sound engineer. So that meant I would go for shows, live shows. I would go for setup, right? So we're lifting speakers, rolling cables, soldering iron, building microphones, building speakers, and all of those things. And it was always like, wait, what? Why? And I remember it was myself and another lady who were in that, we're working with our boss. So he was training us. And it was always fascinating. Anytime we go for a show, and then they see that who are the lead engineers, they're like, these two ladies, like, wait, what? Why? What are men doing, right? But at the end of the day, there is that, wait, what? And then there is that, wow, are you serious? Ladies.
Exactly.
Seriously, you girls are lifting speakers. You girls set up this whole sound system, So there is that bit of some people will be like, hello, where are the guys in the room? And there are some like, wait, what? Ladies? So I've become used to that, scenario. Like, well, I love it. For me personally, I love the fact that, okay, you think, oh, she's supposed to be fragile, but then, oh my gosh, she's strong. Yes, I'm strong. So I guess, those stereotypes it feels like there are some kind of jobs that should be for men and some that should be for women, right? But even funny enough, even as a woman, sometimes I still see a bassist, a female bassist, and I'm like, wow, she's a bassist. Oh my God. As if only men should play the bass, right? In music. But it's just what it is. It's an instrument, and anybody could be interested in playing the instrument, right? I remember visiting a friend recently, and I saw him watching it's like an old, concert performance, and all the people on stage were ladies, drums, bass, saxophone, and I was like, whoa, this is so dope. And this was like long ago, right? And even in this time and age, I'm still like, oh my God, this is so dope. All female crew, all female band, and all of that. So I feel like the stereotypes are some of those things that, oh, this job is supposed to be for men. Like, for example, mechanic. So if you see a female mechanic, you're like, why did you choose this? But at the end of the day, it is an interest, it is a job. And anybody, if you have the mind for it, if you are wired for it, you should be able to go for it, as long as you have the intellectuals for it. And I think some of the things that we have, are challenges that we have had while growing up, because our parents didn't know better, is to also guide us in that direction. And so when they see a girl child doing something, it's like, why are you always around boys? You are a girl. Like, kids don't even know the difference at that point. They just know we are all humans. You see, but the parents are the ones who say, oh, you are a girl. You should put this on. You should dress like this. You should do like this. And then if you see a young girl who's like, I want to go on low cuts, they're like, why? You should have hair so that you wouldn't be like a boy. I'm like, what is wrong with being like, why is it even an issue to be like a boy or something, right? And, all of the stereotypes, but there is a caveat to it as well. Because like I bring it back to my faith. I believe that, there is a reason God created both genders. There is a reason he did that. From my faith, from my study of my faith, in the beginning, when he created mankind, he created one being who had the outlook of a man. But after a while, he saw that, only man had no companion. And then he brought out the woman, the female part of his, his own being, because he created in his likeness, right? So he brought out the female part of him, the feminine side of him, as the companion of the man. So I believe that there is a reason. And in as much as I know that we are all humans, I just feel like we have separate roles in some points. So if we all understand the roles that we play based on our gender, I don't think there should be anything. But the general points or the foundation of it is that we are all mankind, and we've been commissioned to do certain things. There is no limitation to whether you're a man or a woman, but there are roles that you play as a woman. There are emotions that you feel as a woman that is different from that of a man. But we are all human nonetheless.
Thank you so much for beautifully summing it up. The question and the awareness raised from it, if it's a woman is playing, for example, a man's role, that only means that she is coming from a masculine energy at that time. She's balancing that energy. Doesn't mean that she has actually become a man. Generally, that is what the stereotype is. Men actually tell that woman, why are you trying to become a man? Or a woman tells a woman, why are you trying to become the man of the house? What does that mean? A head of the family, you can say that you're trying to become the head of the family, which is still a role that you're trying to fulfill, but why label it, right? Why label it? Or for example, what you said, a Black woman. So somebody would say, why? And I would say, why not? When you bring your uniqueness into any role, that is only the uniqueness of a human rather than being a unique man or a unique woman. That's why I decided to hold this talk, because we wanted to break certain myths. We wanted to raise awareness or build awareness. Generally, these talks are around personal and professional development, but today it is more than obvious. The world is celebrating obvious, but we are talking about something that is not so obvious. And that goes beyond levels, right? Thank you, EJ, for sharing your perspective with us. Now it's Joe's turn. Hello, Joe. As men, how are you balancing your masculine and feminine energies?
Let me start by saying Happy Women's Day, which is quite ironic. Basically, and this is something that I've always kind of argue on. It's like, where's the Happy Man's Day?
Yeah, well, like, I think I chose you for
every
this.
Every day is Happy Man's Day, but only one day is Happy Women's Day. Like, no, it shouldn't. It should be every day. It's like those people who only love each other on Valentine. No, it doesn't work this way. But joking aside, there are the biological differences that we are born with, whether we want it or not. There are the cultural differences that we are born in, whether we want it or not as well. There are the social differences that we are born into of our life. We didn't choose anything, we were programmed. So we programmed from those people before us. So we didn't choose that. It's the same. It's the same as not choosing your religion, your race, your gender. You didn't choose those. You didn't choose your upbringing. So basically, some of those fighting those would be it's like fighting. Yeah, well, basically, if I was born with a big nose and I do a plastic surgery, my children will have a big nose. It didn't go away. It's still in the gene. Yeah, it's just an appearance. So I'm just fighting the unfightable in a way. But are we as humans developed enough to adapt? Yes. Are we developed enough to tap into different energies? Yes. We are capable to go beyond. It doesn't mean that we have to change who we are. It's just that adapt where we can adapt, because this is why mankind reached to where we are today. It's because we can adapt. It's the survival of the fittest. The fittest is not the strongest. The fittest is the person who adapts the most. So basically, since we can adapt, well, we can adapt to all those to all this programming in a way that we didn't choose. Now, if I want to take it more into a personal experience, when I was 13 years old, maybe, it was the birthday of my girlfriend, and I went and bought a gift. So when I came to my mom, well, my dad used to be in Egypt. He worked abroad, so there was my mom. I was brought up by my mom in my teenage years, and he's like, "What did you bring to her?" And I told her what I bring. I said, "Yeah, now you're gonna go back and give it back, and actually get her something that she would want, not what you would want." And I was like, "But yeah, but what's the difference?" She went with me for the first few times, and actually after that there was because there was a gift shop under our place, so the lady there used to advise me as well, to tell me, "Hey, I guess your girlfriend would like this, not that." And bit by bit I realized what are the differences. I was curious, and I still am, and understanding what are the differences. Why would a woman, why would a girl like this and not that? Is it by programming, or is it by choice? If we were raised in the jungle, would we have the same choices? Well, some of those choices will be the same, and some will be different. And I realized while growing up, because I was raised by a woman, basically, that I had a lot of feminine energy. I grew up with this feminine energy. And in the beginning, I was fighting myself and the society. And no, I'm a man that's supposed to be a man with a thick voice. And this is how I am. And then I realized today that as an entrepreneur, my target audience are Arab women entrepreneurs. I mean, I was brought up with this. So instead of fighting it, I'm like, okay, how can I tap to this energy? How can I tap this energy and connect through this energy to the other gender, let's say, and create something that is more. And this is where I'm gonna stop myself. I was going to say balanced. There is nothing worse than balanced. It's not balanced. It's more adaptive, more flexible, rather than more focused. Yeah, rather than balanced. Because I mean, balanced. Oh, yeah. So yeah. As a man, I still and why Arab women? Because I know while growing up, seeing my mom again, how my dad asked her to stay at home and raise the kids. And as soon as my parents split and divorced, my mom went back to work. She's 72. She's happy when she's working. She's super happy. She had to let go of her own fulfillment. And this is a big difference that I realized through the years between men and women. It's women work for fulfillment, men work for achievement. Because the society wants them to achieve, the society wants them to provide, whereas the women have more freedom to be fulfilled. And this is something that I always say, take advantage of this society. This is a flaw in society. You're not expected to achieve. Achievement is tiring. Be fulfilled. Enjoy your fulfillment. This is a gap in society. So enjoy it. Go for it. Be fulfilled. We can't always.
Absolutely, Joe. This is so beautiful what you just said, that when you are running after achievement, that puts you in a very stressful state of mind. And when you are in a stressful state of mind, there is no way in hell that you can have a good quality of life. Your behavior becomes like that. And that's why you start to do things that perhaps internally or within, you don't want to do those things, but you tend to function from the zone that is acceptable to everybody else in the society. But what about you? How do you feel within? Do you think, what you said was women are designed to feel more fulfilled, but men can do that as well. When you accomplish something,
yeah, I'm not saying design.
Fulfilled,
it's
right?
It's more the society, it's more the society expects men to achieve. So there is a pressure on men to achieve, whereas the same pressure is not the same on women. So
they have different pressures. They have different pressures.
Exactly. I'm talking about this kind of pressure. So instead of taking advantage of and playing a little bit around those gaps in the society, those gaps in the expectations, we can actually turn them in our advantage. Instead of always fighting of equality and I don't know what, equality what? We are different, equal rights and equal opportunities for all humankind. Not for women, not for men, for everybody, equal rights and opportunities. But we are different. We are all different. And this difference should be respected, should be accepted, should be dealt with as a difference that is a positive difference. Not as you're different than me, then I'm good, you're bad. No, there is no bad or good. There is basically, we are different, all of us. Man, women, mankind, creation, we're all different. And actually interacting as different, as accepting different beings is much more, for me, it was much more peaceful for me. Rather than look at a person and say, okay, so I have to talk to her as a woman, I have to talk to him as a man. And then, no. I will talk to this person, as a unique person who is really different than the other unique person that in front of you anyway.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Joe, for sharing such an amazing experience, the story behind it, the story behind accepting and embracing your both masculine and feminine energies. And it only depends on which energy do you focus on more. That's the kind of thoughts that you will think, that's the kind of feeling that you will feel, that's the kind of emotions you will express. And when you come from the feminine energy point, for example, if it's a man, they decide to feel a lot more in peace with the external internal environment. They decide to do things for themselves, self-care, for example, and that doesn't turn them into a woman. That only means that right now in this moment they chose to function from a feminine energy. They are embracing acceptance is more peace, it's more fulfilling. My another guest speaker, Manazir, he's been patiently waiting. Thank you so much. And why I chose these two men, or rather, Sharath is there. He has been expressing his point of view. The reason behind that is because I have known these men over a few years, over a few months, over last year, over a couple of years, and I have noticed, I have studied their behaviors and how well they are expressing their vulnerabilities, how well they are owning their manhood and also the humanhood. That's the reason. I don't know how many of you noticed on our YouTube channel, I have actually published that video last year on the same day, on International Women's Day. I came up with this concept of celebrating womanhood or celebrating humanhood. So if you haven't watched that up until now, maybe I would suggest that go and watch it and share your thoughts as well. So Manazir, formally now asking you this question in the informal way. as a man, when was the last time you did not feel congruent, whole, right? You felt like you are suppressing your emotions because you didn't want to experience them.
First of all, thank you so much, Noshin, for giving this opportunity. I'll go back for 2-3 sentences from what Joe and Sarath has left, and I'll come to the point, actually. And happy Women's Day, by the way.
Thank you.
And if somebody feels like this is not good, I'll suggest you one thing. Women or men or children, happy Children's Day, whatever you say, everything has to be celebrated every time, not on a specific days.
True.
However, these days are made for people to resurface the things. Why do Muslims ask to go for prayers on Friday? Why do Christians ask to go on Sundays? At least go once in a week. What happens when you go there? You resurface, you connect again. So if you have such occasions, for example, if I'm fighting with my wife or with my colleague, for example, in the office, if I come up with a bouquet, a chocolate here, and I say like Happy Women's Day, so it's a reconnect. So this is the chances given to get reconnected on that.
Oh, wonderful. It's a different perspective, huh? See?
Yes. So I think, yes, we should celebrate every day, whatever we get. And coming to your question, I'll continue where Sarath has left. Okay. What is happening? We are human beings. We are ingrained with genes. Okay. And I love the way he told about the book and the weapons the people carry. The same way, when we were nomad, okay, the basic survival for us was hunting. And men, being more agile, they were gone for hunting. Okay, so that was a masculine power. Before, if they wanted to impress somebody, they used to hunt big animals. Right? This is how they were shown that they have a strength. They were treated into a different aspect. And that genes has brought us to the, if you see today also, that genes is already there. The men always want to impress a female. After that, what happened? After some time, when they got money, they started to impress with cars, bungalows, food. Now, even the money is going on the backside. Now people are getting more impressed with the intellect part. People like to have more of an intellect, right? So this is how things are evolving. But men are always there to impress the female. Okay. So there is a difference between male and female in the genders. There is a difference. We have to accept that. There's no way two ways. I'm not talking about being surpassing somebody's rights. No, absolutely no. Okay. If we go to the basic questions, okay, why do we have all the gods as a male? Why not females? Why we address God as he?
That's debatable, totally.
So, anyway, so in all the books, wherever we see a he. Okay. Even in Hindu mythology, if you talk about Lord Rama, okay, Sita was given a right to do a swayamvar, to choose a boy. Okay, but the boys has to prove something. The proof was the more of a power part, where Lord Ram broke the bow of Indra, right? So men is always been looked into the strength part, and whatever is more strength, you have to show that that you're not that vulnerable. You're very strong outside, inside. That's how we have ingrained. Okay, I'm talking about the genes part only. Then I'll come to the current part. Okay, even today when we eat chips, wafers. Okay, when we eat, and what we like that crunchiness.
Yeah.
Right. And why do we like that crunchiness? Do you know? Because in olden times, our their forefathers were eating bones, and
Yes.
bones was the crunchiest thing at that time. So that genes has brought to us, and we still like that part. Like the same way, if you see a small child, okay, who is a 2-year child, make him sit in front of the snake, he will get afraid of. He does not know what a snake is, but he'll get afraid of, because we have been getting afraid of that. So the genes has passed on that, right? So the masculine, it is very difficult for a masculine to show that they are vulnerable. They can be mellowed down very soon. No, but yes, they have all the elements of any human being. They have emotions. They have like fear. They have guilt. They have love. They have, but they suppress that part.
True.
And I'll blame to the society also. In recent times, the gap will grow more. The gap will grow more. The more you keep the generation away from the book, this gap has to be, this gap will be growing more. Okay. And when we say, what is there what men can do and female cannot do, or women can do, men cannot do, that's a very debatable question. Everybody can do anything, whatever they feel like. All right. You see across the world, the best chefs are the men, the best designers are the men. Right. But at home, they will not cook. At home, they will not, right, they will not stitch. And the best managers in the world are basically are females. Whether you talk about Indrani, you talk about Kochar, okay, they have marked the girl, the lady who breaks the barrier and moves out from the society rule what we have made. That made it different. So what is happening? You name Maria Estela Perón, first Argentina president. She was a female. Nobody thought of 100 years back that she'll become the president of any country. Okay. Right. Sunita Chawla, Mother Teresa, you name it. These are the people who know what was the purpose of their life. They moved from the same loop. They wanted to follow the principles. They followed the principles, but they set up their own rules. Right? But I'm a very simple human being. I'm a simple, old-fashioned man. I still have that ingrained. I do not have that liberty of going out. So I also behave like a herd mentality. So at times I also want to show that yes, I'm very strong. I'll not cry no matter what happening. Okay.
Does that happen very often, Manazir, or you're comfortable expressing your vulnerability?
No, to the world I can't. As you said, they will consider me very weak. But yes, where I find my friends, my colleagues, we share the same wavelength. Yes, I cry also in front of them. It's an emotion. It has to go out, right? You need to find the right partner. Doesn't need a female or a male. Just an association with you. We are human beings. For a very small thing, we get so happy that the entire day has been made. For a very small thing, somebody looks into a different aspect. That's for the entire day also. Right? So how you look at it? Sometimes you feel sometimes you have a fight with your spouses and they say a small thing and you start crying. I also cried fighting with my spouse. Okay, sometimes they see a very big thing, but we take it in a smile and say, oh, come on, I'm going to make a tea for you. What would you like to have? Or I'll cook a food. Okay, so we are human. Human is like sets of emotions are there. You do not know which emotion is evolving at that time. So yes, I am also vulnerable at times.
Absolutely. Thank you so much
What do
for
you know, Shin?
thank you so much, and I'm so glad. This is the change we want to see in other people who are yet to embrace themselves fully, congruently, expressing their emotions, and actually realizing they can do emotions. I was at that point at some point in time in my life where I thought that, oh, I have to become the man of the family, so I shouldn't be showing my weaknesses. I considered emotions to be weaknesses, being a woman. So I had a little crises going on in that time. Coming back to EJ, I know you are pressed on time and she has to join another event and she has already excused herself from the message with me. So is there anything you would like to ask EJ as a final thought that she can share with us before she leaves the meeting? Anybody, Shweta, Anil, Lena, Bridget, or any of the speakers, or Jihan, please go ahead. Anybody can ask. Or if if no one is asking, or maybe Vida, you want to ask something. If no one is asking, then EJ can share something and then leave. Chop, chop, come on now.
Okay, I guess. I guess no one is asking. I was waiting, like, okay, is there gonna be a question for me? Oh, Manazir, yes, please.
Yes, EJ, I'm very interested to know, like, what made you to choose this career for yourself. What was the turning point? What was the trigger at that moment when you thought of coming to this career and like standing against all the odds and saying, no, I'll do this? What was that one drive which you wanted to have?
Okay. So I think it's just that knowing that because for example, when I started, when I chose the career that I chose, that okay, this is my passion, this is what I want to do. I want to do this for Africa. I had no references, really. I had no references to say, okay, this is somebody, or this is a woman that has done it before, or even a man. The example I could see was really far away. Audible, for example, like, oh my God, but I didn't, but the truth was, I really didn't even think about it. I actually don't even know what entered into my head to give me the audacity to think I can do what I can do, or I can do what I said I wanted to do. But I was just so consumed with the passion that I could effect a change somehow. I could lead the change, or change the narrative, or be somebody that will be in that history line to say, okay, because of this person, or this EJ was one of the people who did something. I think it's just that passion that I have, because even as I jumped into it full passion, no business idea, no business acumen. I started to run, or I started to fly, and my wings couldn't flap. I'm like, oh my God, I'm falling. But in the process of falling, I am getting to know the superpowers that I have within. I'm getting to know that I actually have wings that can flap. And for me, I wouldn't suggest to anybody coming after me now to do the same thing like me, because they might not make it through. They might not scale. But I had to go through this journey head first, no clue, no idea. And then I'm learning my way backwards. But it has totally made my experience rich, because now I learned, like, while I was falling. And then I started learning, like, oh my God, I should have done this first. I went upside down. But now I know, because of that, I'm able to tell the next person coming, hey, don't do that. Your passion is good, but don't jump on anything only based on your passion. Once you spot that, you see that you have a passion, then the next thing to do is to go for the knowledge that you need that will set you apart. So this is something that has now, become what I've learned. And, now I'm not afraid to jump, actually. Like, okay, if an idea comes to me now and I don't have any reference, I will still jump, because I feel like I have that special superpower to flap my wings while falling. So I would say that's it for me.
Thank you very much, EJ, and thank you very much, everyone as well. I'm just now leaving the room open. Thank you, EJ. You can. I know you have to attend another.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Same here.
Thank
All
you, but I have to run now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. And hello, my lovely audience as well. I know you've been waiting patiently as well. I know there must be a lot of questions or a lot of experiences that you, or memories rather, that you may be remembering right now at this point in time, right from your childhood, what you must have been experiencing, whether with your parents, with your peer, with your school or college life, or even after that, some of us who are married with kids, some of us who chose to be single, or some of us who are yet to get into that bond. One such example is Vida, who is actually handling, the business. She's a businesswoman, and she has joined her dad, basically followed that legacy, but creating her own name, her own legacy out of the legacy that followed. So how different has it been, Vida, to be in these two feminine and masculine energies? I know that you have to play both, right? So what would you say from your experience?
I mean, when the speakers were speaking, I resonated with a lot of parts. And especially Joe, when he was talking about, like, he was raised mostly by his mother because his dad was away. So I was in a pretty much similar situation because my dad was always busy in a way. And I was kind of brought up by my mother, and he was rather just that, masculine figure that you think as a little girl that he's my king and whatever. But, you don't go after that behavioral traits. But for me, it had the opposite, effect than it had to Joe. So Joe kind of picked up some feminine, sides of himself in the process. For me, it turned exactly the opposite. I kind of picked up a lot of, masculine traits. And that too, with like, I started displaying that kind of behavior, which some, classified as dangerous and outlaw bricks or whatever. But like, I started displaying that behavior when I was 13 or 14, when I left home and like I started a life on my own in a different country, and then going to college, and then education, and then the business and all of that. So it was always that part of me that wanted to be maybe the absent father who wasn't there, or maybe the brother that I didn't have, or that man in the house that was lacking. So I wanted that. At the same time, I was always in conflict with a lot of the expectations from the society, from the family, from friends. And it was always a conflict for me to display myself as a very feminine female at the same time as the man that I had inside me. So this was always a conflict for me. And I mean, I can say that it still is. And the older that I grow and the more I get into, the business world, and like removing kind of myself from a lot of the feminine part of the things, it's kind of growing even more. And the conflict, sometimes I feel like it's becoming more. And I would say even in my perspectives towards things, or in my, sometimes even talking, or, approach towards the things. But again, I don't know. I mean, I would say the conflict is there, but it does not bother me. I don't know. It does not bother me in a sense because probably I chose it to be that way. And, it's not something that someone forced on me. So I can, kind of slide in between my roles to whatever I want to.
True.
When I want to be a female, I can be a female. And when I have to be a male, I can be a male. Yeah.
Exactly. And thanks for sharing your thoughts, because I remember this example that you always share. And I think most of us members have seen that when you described your experience of literally being the guardian of your younger sister. She is 10 years younger to you. And, you literally took care of her like a mother would. So she wouldn't go back to her parents like your mom and dad, and she would come to you for every single thing. So you were fulfilling the role of a mother. At the same time, now you are fulfilling the role of the head of the business, head of the company. So by doing both those roles, by playing both these roles, the sense of fulfillment is no less in each. This is what we want to re-emphasize, that it doesn't mean if you are focusing on one level, one role, one energy, that you are actually lacking in other. It just means that you chose. It's your choice to shift your energy, and that's where the balance comes in. If this, yeah, balance is cliched, but harmony, we can say harmony, we can say sync, we can say symphony. So it has different names, but at the end of the day, it's how you create that harmony into worlds. That's why if a man is sitting next to a woman, their hearts beat similar in a similar fashion. However, the waves that are generated in that field, they would either feel uncomfortable sitting with each other if they're meeting for the first time, or they would be like, oh, I want to know more. I want to be in her or his company more. That's the energies that are talking to each other. That's why we are talking about masculine and feminine energy here. So thanks, Vida, for sharing your thoughts. Joe wanted to say something. Please, Joe, you can come in, and then I will invite other audience members to share their thoughts.
Thanks. Actually, there's something I realized when Vida was talking about the compensation. We both compensated for the missing energy. It means that both energies are a whole, whether we want it or not. Both energies exist. Both energies are a whole. We did not compensate out of social values or we compensated psychologically, basically, because we needed the other energy. It's not a balance, as you said, it's a harmony. It's the yin yang. Inside one, there is the other. It's always an imbalance in a way. The harmony is not in the balance, it's in the imbalance. It's what we're choosing to follow in a way, but both have to be there in a way. And this is where I just realized that beyond genders, we are genders. We are a mix of the genders. We are the gender of genders in a way. So it's one whole that has many elements.
Joe, you're talking quantum. We are on that level now.
Yeah. When Nosheen asked the initial question beyond the genders, the only thing I noted was that we are free souls made up of certain emotions. That's about it. I mean, to me, it's just, we are all energy. It's irrespective of, the physical body or the mentality or whatever. We're just souls with certain energy and emotion, and that's about it.
True.
Yeah,
Very
beautifully
yes.
said.
Thanks, Manazir. I saw him sharing.
The only thing, yes. But the only thing is that we have a different dressings. That's it.
Yeah, and sometimes we change. We change that role as well. And that's where acceptance, that's where tolerance comes in. Back then, that is what worked. Back then, in the olden age, that's what worked. Men carrying the weapons and they exhibiting a certain body language. But now times have changed. Roles are being exchanged, and that's why in many corporates these days you will see they don't use the term he or she anymore. They say they or them, which I still find a little challenging to address in every situation, because it may somehow take us away from our basic essence. But then that's how the world is changing. We got to accept that change. If that environment actually demands you to address them as they and theirs and them, so be it. We got to do that. Otherwise, you know who you are beyond that he or she label, right? So with this, now I invite our audience to ask or share their thoughts or experiences, or ask questions from speakers as well. It's not just, you have to share your experience. You can go ahead and ask questions. We have about, I will say, is 10 minutes okay, guys, everybody? Yeah? Okay. So 10 minutes. Thank you. Who would like to ask a question or share a thought? It could even be a quote or anything that you feel like sharing.
Can I
Please,
go
Regis.
ahead?
Yes. Welcome.
Okay. First of all, thanks a lot for having me in, and a big thank you to all the speakers for sharing the wonderful insights. It's been a pleasure listening to you, hearing you out. Once again, I would say happy International Humans Day. Is that
It's a shift.
so?
No, you can say Women's Day. Come on, we're not opposing.
Yeah. So yeah. So okay, a couple of small things I just want to share is that one to Naushin. Naushin, it's not only the women's heart, but not only the men's heart. The women's heart will also beat when they sit next to the men. Okay, so and for a moment, for Manazir, I for a moment was listening to a matchmaking conversation when he spoke earlier. So anyway, first of all, wonderful insights, and one common observation which I could find was like I think it's more to do with the social conditioning that we have been going through. That one gender has to behave in this particular way and the other gender has to be in that way. Men are not supposed to cry, or they have to, like, they're not supposed to be vulnerable, which I would say a person from seeing things from a positive frame of mind, I would definitely say things are changing. Things are changing for the good. And of course, as you see, any change, it will take time. So we need to give in that time. That's the one thing. It should change to an extent wherein if I see a person, I should not be judged them by their gender. I should be seeing that person's capability. I should be seeing that person's intellectual capacity as well as their competence, rather than just a male or a female. So I hope and pray that the world will shift towards that direction, and days are not that far. I don't know how much time I've got. I would.
No, you've been to the point. You've been absolutely right by saying, these words and spreading the message. Please go ahead.
Yeah, and I would say nature has given more responsibilities to women, I would say, because because they have to nurture a child, and for the upbringing, I would say men are much more relaxed in that way. This is by natures, and I've read a wonderful quote, and I guess it's true. Probably you guys can watch for that or correct me. They say if you educate a man, he can protect a family, but if you educate a woman, they can build a nation.
Absolutely right.
That's the difference. But I would definitely say that each gender has got their own qualities, their own specialties. So instead of competing or comparing each other, I think we should embrace both the qualities, both the traits of these two genders, and move on.
True. Thank you so much for.
I guess this our conversation should be shared with Vladimir Putin also. I think he is the one who needs this message the most at this point in time, I guess.
Who? Sorry? Oh, okay.
Vladimir Putin. Yeah.
Okay. I hope at some point in time he watches this. Okay. Thank you so much.
You should take you should take this recorded version and send it to him. Yeah.
You can do the honors of spreading on my behalf as well. I will be glad. Thanks a lot. So thank you, Bridget.
Thanks a lot to each one of you for connecting. Thanks a lot. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you. Shweta, thank you so much. She's joining us from India. We have a wonderful audience joining us from all parts of the world, and I really, really appreciate this. Connect and you valuing what is being said here, what is being discussed here and shared in terms of whether it's personal stories or professional experiences around the topic, off the topic, doesn't matter. It's an informal conversation at the end of the day, but has a formal message for the entire world. Celebrate humans, celebrate humanhood. We should also have a human day, International Human Day, rather than just Men's Day, Women's Day, or a particular gender day. Shweta and Anil or Jihan, would you like to contribute or ask anything? Jihan? Would you like to unmute yourself, or you want to type something in the chat? That's okay if you wish to express that way. No force. Yeah. Oh, she writes very well, by the way. She's an amazing content person.
No, I don't have anything to share, but like the conversation was really meaningful, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. So thank you for that.
You're most welcome. I would like to ask a question to you all, actually, including me, because I'm a mother. And how would we raise our kids who are the future generation? Not saying son or daughter or any other gender. How do we raise our kids so that they carry this legacy forward and they respect humans beyond gender? And those who have not participated up until now can choose to do so, no force, so that we treat everybody fairly. If not, then anybody can. Yes, please, Manaz. Go ahead.
Yeah. Basically, just I want to share something before come to your question actually on that. Okay. If you see, your behavior all depends on economic patterns. How economically sounds you are. Okay. If you see like our forefather, like our grandparents. If, for example, my grandfather was working certain place, he used to work. He used to work there for 20 years, 25 years, and retire from there. We say there's a lot of loyalties there. Not about loyalty. They do not have that options at that moment, and he was the only bread earner.
True.
Right. So loyalty or emotions, attachment, or everything, it was economically driven with that. Okay. Then the next generation came, which of my father's generation came. Okay. In this generation, what happened? They have a liberty to save money. Before that, it was a matter of survival. My parents, they got a liberty of saving money, buying a home, getting a car, sending us to a better school. And then when we came, okay, we came into a wisdom age. I call it a wisdom age. Wisdom age because your knowledge was more free. Though there is a very thin line between knowledge and information. Okay, but information was free flowing. So what happened? We got an opportunity. The opportunity also came. Whether it was a male or a female, we both got an opportunity to go to school. Before, if my parent has got an opportunity to send to somebody 1%, they'll send only 1%, right? They'll ask the girl to stop there, right? So this was happening. But of late, if you see, the Indian media also, the Indian advertising agencies also, they have transformed this thing actually. They came up with so much of a campaign where like Ladki Padhao, okay, like girls will be educated, or
Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao.
Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, Desh Bachao, and all those things.
Just for others who do not perhaps understand what it means. Educate the girl child and save the girl child. Yeah.
So that type of thing, and then the campaign was ran, like rather than telling a girl what to wear and what not to wear, where to go and not to go, you should treat your son how to treat a female. Okay, so the awareness has been created now, though it is very slow. I think as soon as the more economically people will be driven with those things, all men, female, both the genders will be more abreast to time and technology to adhere or to accept each other in an equal manner. That's
Sure. Thank you so much. And thanks, Manazir, for sharing this very important piece of information. And I'm just reading what Shweta has mentioned. Thanks, Shweta, for sharing your perspective as well. And she says that we should inculcate both masculine and feminine energy, irrespective of the gender. Absolutely. Because when you sort of give that experience, not only tell your kids what to do, but show them by displaying that character, by displaying that behavior, because that's how they learn the best. They don't learn by being told. No one likes to be told, neither do they, right? They want to be guided. They want to see and learn from what they are actually seeing in your behavior. That's what they pick up from. It's like a blueprint. You choose what kind of blueprint you want to put on their minds and what is the result that you're going to expect. How can you expect them to treat women fairly? Or, for example, the thought came across my mind while Vida was sharing her experience of how she's trying to create harmony between the two energies. I thought of a very old question that came to my mind. Whenever a man, generally, I'm not saying all, please don't get me wrong, whenever a lady is having, or a woman is having mood swings, for example, she's not in a mood to talk, a man would go turn around, are you PMSing? Are you having your period? I mean, excuse me, what kind of a label is that? Then, if a man is being irritating and displaying that kind of a behavior, should I go turn around and ask him, are you PMSing? What's happening these days? So it's not nothing to do with having a period or no period or those days of the month for a woman. It's all about what emotion is she feeling at that point of time. What is the environment like? What is her internal environment? What is her external environment? How are you treating her? How is she being treated by her kids, for example? So has anybody ever thought about that beyond that label? Has anybody ever thought about beyond that gender specific role that she is expected to fulfill, perform? And why does the kids' upbringing only have to be the responsibility of a woman in the family? Yes, I do understand that women are more of the nurturing, caring, compassionate, giving character. But then what about single parents, men? Do they do that any less? Do they perform that role any less? Why can't we tell them they are the mothers? We always say that's the father, but he's playing two roles. So law of duality does exist here. That's what Joe was trying to say. It's yin and yang. As above, so below. If there is night, there is day. If there is light, there is darkness. So these two energies actually complement each other. There is a huge difference between masculinity and femininity, and masculine energy and feminine energy. So some people have confused themselves with these two terms, right? So Shweta also says that my husband has right balance of feminine and masculine qualities, and this makes our life joyful because we understand each other and help each other grow personally and professionally. Well done. Since I'm in the middle of the, okay. So that's the personal stuff she has shared there. And Vida says, the answer to are you PMSing is no, I just hate you. So that's what you feel at that time, right? You feel that emotion, and you perhaps you can't express it in words, so you're showing it in your body language. The other person has to be smart enough, intellectual enough to read between the lines and understand that. Yeah. Anil, would you like to say something before we close the session? Say or write, whichever way you feel comfortable expressing, as long as you express.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's a fantastic session, and I was listening very keenly to all the speakers. In my personal opinion, and what I've seen all around me, is that it is, as one of the speakers also said earlier, that it is all about conditioning. See, for example, Manazir Bhai was giving an example of, having great chefs who are male, and they don't cook at home. So it is all about conditioning. I don't cook. I don't have that interest in cooking, but my 10-year-old son can make chapatis. So my wife has trained him that way. So it is all about conditioning, how things have, how you have been brought up, how your conditioning has been. Don't think that there are two different genders. It is just a two different way the God has created us all. And the society has imposed those responsibilities. I often tell my wife that I'll be very happy to sit at home, cook, clean the house, take the responsibility of the kids if you decide to go and start making a living by earning. So office is yours, you can come, and I'll be very happy. So I don't think that kind of difference is really there. It is all created by society, and this is how it has been happening all along. Men have been thrusted upon to bring the money, and the woman is to be a homemaker. But I don't think the roles are really there. It can be reversed anytime, as long as both the partners are comfortable with such a change. So gender distinction is very blurred. It's all lies here only in a few people's mind. That's all I'll say. But fantastic, fantastic session. And good to hear different perspectives.
That's exactly what the aim was, to bring in a little. Thank you so much, Anil. And very, very valid points raised here. Some red flags, some debatable questions, or some debatable points shared here. That is what is the real essence of us being human. If we function from that, oh, should I say something that the other person might feel bad, or shall I fit into this box, cultural box, religious box, political box? There are so many boxes. Why can't we freaking get out of those boxes and create another, perhaps a fluid sort of a shape that would be flexible, be like water? Why can't we be like water? That's what Bruce Lee said, and he is being known as one of the very spiritual characters in our lives. For example, movies that we have watched and martial arts, what we have seen him perform. It's a science. It's energy behind that sport. It's not just a physical exercise. It's the whole mindset. That is what we are focusing on here. Guys, please, what worked then was the best our parents, forefathers, or ancestors could do in that environment, whether it was internal or external. But that doesn't work now, because we have different resources, we have different mindsets, we have different behaviors, we have different technology tools, everything. So why not be in line with the changing times and change our mindset for good, whatever serves us, right? Joe wants to say something very quickly, and then we will end the talk for today.
Yes, it is very quick. And actually, I was thinking about that point of are you PMSing? And I realized that it's coming from ignorance. No, really.
I think I touched the chord there.
Yeah, because as a man would not understand what women are coming from. So, okay, so this behavior I don't understand. It's something that I don't have. So it's ignorance. And I think it's education and educating the biological genders and what's happening in a way would make them ask less stupid questions in a way, because those stupid questions come from uneducated guesses. So that's it. It's more the more education. It goes to what you asked. How can we educate our children? Educate our children to understand each other better.
Absolutely.
That some things come with nature and we have to understand it. Some things come to society and have to understand it, and then let them, hey, those are the genders, those are the whatever it is, put them in together, and then this is where the differences has to be respected, and that's it, and accepted. I mean, it's like anything else. We're talking about war, acceptance, tolerance. We're talking about anything, we need acceptance. Without acceptance, without tolerance to anything different, this is where the conflict comes. Tolerance and acceptance. These are the basics, and everything else can be done.
So very rightly said. I think the screen froze momentarily. Can everybody experience that, or it's just me? Maybe it's the internet. Yeah, that's what happens in online
No, we're
conversations.
good.
Okay, but we got it. We got the essence of, accepting and tolerating and educating, not just making them literate, but educating them, giving them the values, teaching them their personal values around respect, honesty, harmony, and being open-minded. That is one of the very important values we should teach our kids, to experience everything in life, and decide for themselves what is good for them. Not just what's good for us. We force that on our kids, right? Rijit, you want to say something? Please go ahead. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, just one small point. Naushin, thanks a lot. Me being a single guy, I don't think I deserve to comment on this. But still, seeing my
we
niece
never
and nephew
biased on
behave.
the basis of your marital status. So go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm a brave guy, so I'll go ahead. So so this is what I thought. See, we spoke about teaching and guiding the kids, but are we ready to learn from the kids? So
yes,
that's
very,
a question
very
that we need to
valid.
answer ourselves. There are a lot of things kids can teach you. Unconditional love, it's one thing, and the other is the best way to help them is to not to disturb them. They are smarter than their parents, frankly speaking, and what I've seen is the parents, can they become their friends, so that they will be the first person their kids will come and share if they face any challenges or difficulties in their life. Can you elevate yourself to that position? Is something every parent should ask. Otherwise, slowly they will distance from their parents eventually. And it's a hard truth, and it hits a lot. Being a parent, it hits a lot. So yeah, I think that's some point to ponder on. If you don't disturb them, they will grow smarter and much more knowledgeable, period.
True. Thank you so much, Rijit, and very valid point raised here and shared as well. If you just nurture them, it's like, growing a plant. So nurture them, water them, take care of them, talk to them with love, with respect, with care. What stops you from treating your child with a lot of love and care, and treat them like an adult, like you would want them to treat you? What happens is, I would say something to my daughter and she would turn around and say, but Mama, you're watching your phone. How can you tell me not to watch phone right now? So obviously I have to be able to unlearn that behavior first and then teach her a new set of behavior. So unlearning is very, very important point in creating a different set of behavior, which is more resourceful and which creates a harmony between the two. And the other generation is ready, more accepting, more tolerant, and more open and welcoming of the change that's happening in and out. Yeah, that is what would be my last message in this discussion. Thank you so much, our wonderful, wonderful guest speakers as well, and our lovely audience for sharing all your perspectives, if not all, but most, maybe around the topic. And if it calls for another conversation off the table, happy to have coffee meetings whenever we can and ponder upon more deeply on this conversation. Thank you so much wholeheartedly. And we will make this recording available to all who could not attend today or who would like to watch it in their free time. Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful evening and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Nash.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Staying
Joe,
until the end.
I know that. Joe has this habit of staying till the end, so Sharath is also being a party to that.
So I am here.
Yes, let me stop the recording.